Regional Police Professional Standards Branch. We are unable to take your call at the moment, so please leave your name and number and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Please note that this may take up to 24 hours for a call back. If you need to reach the Office of the Police Complaints Commissioner, please contact 902-424-3246. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hi, Professional Standards. Sorry about the phone cutting out there. The previous call, I'm just in bad service. I'm calling in regards to PC number 2023-0049 in regards to Jonathan Jefferies. I had contacted several times. Nobody has contacted me back, so I'm going to be contacting you and guys and talking at you. And all these videos will be on YouTube, Facebook, and submitted to security services in Canada, so I recommend you take them very seriously. Now, Jonathan Jefferies lied in regards to Jim Perrin getting me fired. The facts are I'm a software engineer and a global technical expert who did an investigation with J.D. Irving, right? So, Jonathan, how does CSIS and RCMP know why you lied in your report? What you did was basically perjury. Aside from you believing me or the validity of the information, you 100% lied. It is non-contestable, right? But then we look at my GPS location being set to Stillwater, Nova Scotia, and the associations with the EMIC contracts. This is a matter of national security and national defense. Did you report this to CSIS and DND as you were supposed to do? No, you didn't. You covered it up. Now CSIS and DND and RCMP have to wonder why you covered this up and why you lied about this. Do you understand that? Now, you're calling into question not only yourself, but the entirety of Halifax Professional Services, that none of them are stopping you from doing this, but allowing you to lie in such a capacity. You're bringing the complete administration of justice into disrepute just so you could pretend you're some kind of big man and can't answer basic questions. Right? At this point, the Prime Minister directly sees this, Mr. Jefferies. The Premier directly sees this. He showed up the night my mother died. Right? David Fano of CSIS sees this, and they're all wondering the same question. Why are you lying? This is in regards to political interference. You see what's happening with RCMP? They need to look into your life now to see why you're lying and why all those people around you are lying. Are you bought off by China? Are you bought off by media conglomerates? Are you acting alone? These are all good questions they now need information on, and they need to find out because Canada's going to be wondering. Because remember, I'm a global technical expert doing a security review, Mr. Jefferies. Do you understand how serious this is? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be leaving more messages with more evidence, and I know this is going to get back to Kinsella. Kinsella already knows, right? So this is just showing how corrupt the entire process is, which is good in the long run for me, right? But at this point, I have you on obstruction. I have you on conspiracy, perjury, and breach of trust. So I'm going to give you and the commissioner 24 hours to rectify this and contact me. If you do not, I will recommend obstruction charges at very least to CSIS and RCMP. At this point, you basically ruined your reputation and your career just so you can lie, cheat, and steal. Okay? If I'm retarded, Jonathan, if I'm just retarded like you put in your report, you should be able to disprove me and explain why my GPS location was set there. The facts are you're not going to be able to, and that's what you're hiding from. Right? This is an embarrassment not only to Halifax Regional Police, your colleagues, but yourself. You're degrading the trust in police across this country, and you're proving exactly why nobody should trust police in Canada. And in regards to Mr. Pope, I hope they let you listen to this, Mr. Pope. Do not trust that lawyer. They're there to protect Dan Kinsella. They're trying to protect the commissioners who lied about all of this. They'll drown you if they can. Don't answer any questions. Get your own lawyer, and you can sue the face off of these people, including Jonathan Jefferies. Mr. Jefferies, I'd recommend you find some integrity real quick, because as it stands, the Premier, Prime Minister David Fano have been personally asked, would you trust Jonathan Jefferies? But also J.D. Irving, and you know they're going to come back and say no. So I'd suggest you take some steps to resolve that. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Is what it is.
Hi, you've reached the Halifax Regional Police Professional Standards Branch. We are unable to take your call at the moment, so please leave your name and number and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Please note that this may take up to 24 hours for a call back. If you need to reach the Office of the Police Commissioner, please contact 902-424-3246. Thank you and have a great day.
Hi, Professional Standards. This is Scott Yours again. I'm calling in regards to PC number 2023-0049 in regards to Jonathan Jefferies. As stated yesterday in the phone call, you were given 24 hours to contact me directly and have it explained to me why you did not include the arresting officers. And if you didn't, then I would be recommending criminal charges. So that's what I'm recommending to CSIS and RCMP, and I will be proceeding with that. I know you think it's a joke and you're not going to take it seriously, but that's okay. Right? Now, I did receive an email from you guys basically blaming me for all of this when I actually did ask Jonathan Jefferies before he submitted his final report why he did not include those officers. It was 3 of the 10 emails I had sent him. And well, anybody would know if you make a complaint about a false arrest, obviously it would include the arresting officers. That's not even a complicated That's not even a complicated statement. You don't need to work around and come up with reasons to make that make sense. That is a very common sense question, right? But let's really talk about the damage Jonathan Jefferies has done by lying like this, because not only did he just call the complete administration of justice into disrepute and prove that he will lie even if it's presented to him in writing, proving that, you know, that officers would obviously lie even if they're presented in writing. But see, here's the problem. Your own officers voted 96% no confidence in Dan Kinsella. And what Jonathan Jefferies just did was just expose the 3 arresting officers, their interest to Dan Kinsella. So he can retaliate, he can go after them, he can influence them, he can help them plan and offer them deals to support and promote him. Right? Instead of facing this, he gave the presumption of innocence to Dan Kinsella, who is the named perpetrator. Not one person would say that Dan Kinsella didn't know I was walking down to HRP that day when I was falsely arrested. But even worse, Jonathan Jefferies misrepresented the homeless person who came to me the morning I was at Mount Hope and told me that they gave me my book bag and they all went through it, by them, the officers, and then asked me to rock, paper, scissors for one of the 20s. He didn't even include that. But what Jonathan Jefferies did was, I woke up to a doctor standing over me who immediately touches my stomach inappropriately. This was all reported, and I laid that out for Jonathan Jefferies. Jonathan Jefferies lied in his report and said that it was the homeless person standing over me inappropriately. Didn't mention about that person coming to me about my book bag or anything the next day. But even worse is now he exposed that person to the special interest of those police and Dan Kinsella, who is a person who has absolutely no representation. The negligence couldn't be any more clear. Now, Jonathan Jefferies, the other things that you actually failed to include in your report in regards to this is that I did a full investigation with J.D. Irving through 2020, and the day after I sent off my final email saying I caught you guys all mocking racism and harassment, I got you on the technical, I got you on everything. The next day, Stephen McNeil resigned. Well, Stephen McNeil's brother, Robin McNeil, was the acting chief during the time with everything with Jim Perrin, which is where the complaint about the wallet and everything was originating. Right? But even worse is, you can look this up yourself in my record, is I made a Freedom of Information request to Halifax Regional Police in 2022, and when I got my Freedom of Information request back on June 23rd, 2022, on the same day, Kevin Mooney stepped down from Irving Shipbuilding. So there's massive correlations to the data. And isn't it interesting that Jonathan Jefferies chose to leave out these specific facts? No, these are specific omissions, so he can specifically lie on the record regarding what happened. I mean, he could have copied and pasted what I said, but he didn't. He specifically lied as to mislead anybody reading that record. And he put the careers of those other officers in jeopardy, including that homeless person. And now that's opened up HRP for massive litigation, not only from me, but all the officers involved in this, because Jonathan Jefferies chose to lie, misrepresent, and subject them to the perpetrator. Somebody who's their person's in question, with the police themselves voting 96% no confidence. Take that to your lawyer. And the moment you say, Scott, you have to take this to the police, Jonathan Jefferies knows those arresting officers made a huge mistake. You're in a lot of trouble, Mr. Jefferies. I would suggest you find some integrity really quickly. Have a good day. I've never seen such a corrupt people and corrupt process. Like, this is dirty. These people are dirty, dirty, dirty human beings. This is bad, right? Test. Okay. Hey, to make sure the volume is working. Whoa, I just got disconnected. What was that?
Hi, you've reached the Halifax Regional Police Professional Standards Branch. We are unable to take your call at the moment. Please leave your name and number, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Please note that this may take up to 24 hours for a call back. If you need to reach the Office of the Police Complaints Commissioner, please contact 902-424-3246. Thank you. Have a great day.
Good afternoon, Professional Standards. This is Scott Jors. I'm calling in regards to PC number 2023-0049. I'm calling part of an ongoing series. These videos and these recorded calls are all going to be posted to Facebook, YouTube, online, and provided to Security Services of Canada. You have not contacted me within the 24 hours, as stated. So we're going to move forward with providing evidence on these phone calls, so it's clear that you all know Jonathan Jefferies is absolutely, without a doubt, lying, and you are all helping him cover it up. All right, I have a question, Mr. Jefferies. Now, I was met by somebody that I did engage and have sex with, who then tried to extort me for $50,000 for stories about my life. I seen a camera set up. It seemed they were recording me. Mr. Jefferies, who do I report that to? Do you have issues with that, Mr. Jefferies? Now, Mr. Jefferies, the day before I walked down to HRP and they performed the false arrest, Valent Legal was hacked. The one legal company I had engaged in regards to this issue, and I've got all the logs and I've got them reporting they were hacked, but also Burschel's LP, another legal company from Halifax. And on the day I walked down to HRP, I can show that my analytics went crazy, went from basically 0 to 800 views, and my accounts all got hacked that day. Now, from what I understand from the criminal code, from what our CMP has told me, from privacy law, they all say you need to take that to the police. So, Mr. Jefferies, did I not go to the police the next day with that information in hand? Yes, I did. Those officers didn't take that information. Right now, Mr. Jefferies, right on Professional Standards website for Halifax Regional Police, it says who can make a complaint. Right? And it says you can make a complaint against any Halifax Regional Police officer, including the Chief of Police. Now, you excluded the 3 arresting officers, so didn't allow me to file a complaint against them, and you excluded Dan Kinsella, even though I'm allowed to file a complaint against him. Right? And then note the next point. Do I have to contact Professional Standards to make a complaint? No, you can make a complaint to any of the following. Any member of the Halifax Regional Police. So why did the officers not stop and take this complaint from a global technical expert, Mr. Jefferies? They're required by law to take it, so why didn't they? Right? I've got all these details and information. You don't find that strange? Yeah, you do. And you're doing the same thing. You're by law required to take this. You call yourself an investigator. You're being spoon-fed by a global technical expert with massive, incredible evidence. And you're failing everybody. Yourself, all of Canada, everybody. Right? But we'll move on. Right? Now, Jonathan, you stated that I sent you 27 emails. That's a lie. I sent you 10, and 3 of them were asking about why you were not looking into Officer 5. Now, note point number 2 in those. They said, who's looking into Dan Kinsella, Torstar, and Post Media? Right? Now, you're saying this is all made up. Jonathan Jefferies, on November 19th, 2019, Dan Kinsella said there would be an apology for the black community. Jim Perrin gets his transfer to J.D. Irving. I get a call about a job for the Canadian government. And Torstar shuts down their Halifax office. Torstar and Post Media are under investigation for collusion. Several days later, Post Media gets their journalistic accreditation, which was required for Bill C-18. Now, Jonathan Jefferies, 2 months after I sent you that email, Torstar and Post Media announced they were in merger talks. Jamie Irving also steps down as the executive chair. Isn't that quite the coincidence, Jonathan? I couldn't have known about any of that, but here it is all over the news, and even the Prime Minister is stating that there will be an investigation. But it's all made up, right, Mr. Jefferies? I'm a global technical expert. I'm just making it up, and I got that lucky? That's right. Now, Jonathan Jefferies, in November 2019, when that happened, several days after, Our HRP showed up and seemed to be making threats regarding my disabled mother. Now, I sent you a picture of 7 of her night dresses to show you what they were talking about. That's all made up, Mr. Jefferies. You don't have questions about that? Now,
if you are satisfied with your message, press 1. To listen to your message, press 2. To erase and re-record, press 3. To continue recording where you left off, press 4. To send your message with normal delivery, press 1. Thank you. Your message has been sent. To disconnect, press 1. To enter another number, press 2.
we'll have to do a second call so I can say my ending part.
Hi, you've reached the Halifax Regional Police Professional Standards Branch. We are unable to take your call at the moment. Please leave your name and number, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Please note that this may take up to 24 hours for a callback. If you need to reach the Office of the Police Complaints Commissioner, please contact 902-424-3246. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hi, Professional Standards. I'm sorry I didn't have enough time to finish. This is going to be real quick. This is Scott Yours again, regards to PC number 20230049. All right, now just to finalize this, anybody listening to this call, I want you to look at Jonathan Jefferies. I want you to look into his eyes, and I want you to remember that face. That is the face of corruption. That is the face of the disease that has plagued policing in Canada for 150 years. You remember, that man would frame your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, everybody, just so he could pretend he's some big man. And here's the other part about this. I want you to think about this. It seems Dan Kinsella was involved in stealing a historic apology to the black community. I believe Jonathan Jefferies is black from what I could find on the internet. So how do you feel about that, Jonathan? Knowing that Jim Perrin, then after they steal this historic apology, Jim Perrin goes and mocks racism and harassment, basically calling it all some narrative to get police. How do you feel about that? Is it some joke, Jonathan? Is your life and your lived experience some joke? No, it's not. And this is what you're doing to your friends, your family, and your community. It's a disgrace. Now, as it stands, I have you on perjury, falsifying records, breach of trust, conspiracy, fraud, criminal negligence, and reasonably obstruction. I imagine I'll be able to get at least a 4-year conviction if we find, if you lie about any of this. Well, you should relay to Mr. Kinsella that it looks like I've got about enough to maybe get him in a federal cage for about 14 years. So I'd suggest one of you, especially Mr. Jefferies, finds a little bit of integrity, because every day you do not address this, it is exponentially worse. All right. Thank you very much, you guys. Have a good day.
Hi, you've reached the Halifax Regional Police Professional Standards Branch. We are unable to take your call at the moment. Please leave your name and number, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Please note that this may take up to 24 hours for a callback. If you need to reach the Office of the Police Complaints Commissioner, please contact 902-424-3246. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hi there, Professional Standards. Scott Yours again, case number PC2023-0049. This is another message for Mr. Jefferies, Jonathan Jefferies. Jonathan Jefferies, every institution I've spoken to has stated that this should go to the police, except you. Isn't that strange that the privacy commissioners, RCMP, and everybody says this should go to the police, but those officers didn't allow me to file a complaint? Right? And then Jefferies, isn't it interesting that you didn't allow me to file a complaint against Dan Kinsella or the arresting officers, but now you're going after Pope? The one who would actually be able to speak to my character the entire time as you lie about my book bag? And you know that HRP legally has to take the complaint. It seems like you're just gathering information so you can give them an advanced defense without actually gathering any information or the recollection of events, so they can't lie on a record. I think the public and everybody's going to generally agree with that, right? And you stating that the doctor said that I was just retarded, so this is all right. Actually, what she said, Jonathan, is she was basing it based on what the arresting officers told them. And you're not allowing me to file a complaint against the arresting officers and saying I must just be retarded, so it's okay? And you're stating I'm lying about all this, yet I'm a global technical expert coming with all this evidence, and it's all detailed, and you call yourself an investigator? No. Every person around you should be absolutely concerned with the steps that you're taking and your actions, because any reasonable person would know what you're doing, Mr. Jefferies. And that's okay. I just wanted to get it all on record for Canada. So, you know what? Do what you're going to do, buddy. That's all right. I think I got enough here to have you charged, but we're going to see how this goes. So, Mr. Jefferies, if you want to show some integrity and call me back, you know, some decency as a human being, I'm here to talk. All right? If not, you want to continue down this path with you lying, cheating, and stealing, I am going for full federal charges. All right, thank you very much. This will be my last one, and have a good day.